Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. You can change the language of this podcast in the YouTube video settings. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing when your ex realizes you're really gone. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Subscribe to my weekly support emails. The link is in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing when your ex realizes you're really gone. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you likely think that they don't look back. But this often isn't the case. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 things that happen when your ex realizes you're really gone. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is they feel discarded. Now let me know in the comments if you believe that your ex thinks that you're waiting for them. Let me know in the comments and let's see what the community thinks. But point number 1 is that your ex-dumper will feel discarded when they realise that you're really gone. But what does it actually mean for you to be really gone? Especially since they of course ended the relationship. And therefore, when you think about things in a rational sense in your mind, you're thinking, well, they've ended the relationship. They don't want me around. They don't care that I'm gone. They chose for me to be gone. So how on earth could it translate that you could gain some benefits as a dumpee if your ex-dumper believes and realises that you've gone, even though they've actually made that decision? Yes, it sounds like a paradox, but as a dumpee, you do have influence on the situation. And as I said in point number 1, if and when they realise that you've gone, well, they're going to feel discarded. So how does this all work out? How does this play out for you in the position that you are someone who has just been dumped? Well, it ties into the fact that your ex-dumper has made a choice that they don't believe that this relationship is working for them anymore. However, it doesn't mean that they think that you don't love them. They still believe that you love them. They still believe that you want them. Now, maybe this is just an assumption because they are the person who actioned the breakup, or perhaps this is because you've told them. Now, at the time of a breakup, it's very understandable. When emotions are high, you're trying to save your relationship, you're probably going to be saying things like, I really love you. I want this relationship to continue. That's absolutely fine. But if you continue to say and do things post-breakup which seem that you are desperate for your ex, where you're begging or pleading, you're trying to explain why you should be both together, if you're doing this post-breakup, well, that isn't as understandable, especially in your ex-dumper's mind. And therefore, they're thinking that you are really showing your desire for them. So, as I've said, maybe this didn't take place and your ex-dumper is just assuming that you are loving them and wanting them and there for them because they're the one that's actioned the breakup, and hence they're thinking, well, you didn't action the breakup, so you must want to be with me. It's either that reason or you have made it abundantly clear post-breakup with begging and pleading. Either way, we have a situation where yes, your ex ended the relationship. Yes, they wanted to go down their own path, but they believe that you are there for them. They believe that you love them. They believe that you want them. Now this is where you can, quote unquote, discard your ex-dumper. Because if you don't continue to behave in a way which is pushing them on that pedestal, you can remove those thoughts from your ex-dumper's mind. And again, I appreciate it is a little bit of a paradox. It's not something which necessarily makes a lot of sense necessarily to you, but this is something that we really have to get our head around, because breakups, love in general, is not something that often makes a lot of sense. Okay, you might think to yourself, I really want my ex back, but I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to you. And also, to add to the confusion, I would suggest that you like your ex-dumper more now, post-breakup, than when you were in the relationship. When you were in the relationship, I'm not suggesting that you didn't like or love your now former partner, but I would believe and suggest that your feelings towards them are even greater now, since the breakup. This just shows that love and thoughts of love, romance, breakups, etc., they don't always make a lot of sense to us. Yes, when we're looking from the outside in, we can piece it together more, but when you're in the eye of the storm, it's very, very difficult. So your ex-dumper, as we've described, they've decided to do their own thing, try and live a different life because they didn't feel the relationship was working for them, but for whatever reason you fall into the category of, they believe that you still love them, they believe that you still want them. But if you can get your ex-dumper to realise that you've really gone, they will feel, as we're describing in point number 1, discarded. And this can be achieved by making sure you don't fall into the traps of begging and pleading your ex. Now you might think, well, I've already done that, so what hope do I have? What hope do I have of making my ex feel discarded? Because I've always been begging and pleading since the day they dumped me. Well, the good news is, it's never too late to pull the rug from underneath them in this regard. If you are begging and pleading, it's now time to stop. Even if you think, well, I only send them a message once every few months. Stop. Stop doing anything which is really adding value to their mindset. You don't want to be giving them your gold membership. You don't want to be giving them everything that you would ordinarily give someone you are in a relationship with. They don't deserve that. They are not your partner right now. So stop giving them extra value. Stop giving them all of this desire, all of this love. Stop giving them it, and they will start to feel it. They will feel discarded, even though they action the breakup. Yes, it can be confusing, but this is how it plays out. But what if you were the type of person who didn't beg and plead post-breakup, and yet, okay, your ex may have assumed that you still loved them, but they've got no real evidence a few months down the line because you never begged and you never pleaded. How can you make them feel discarded? Well, the good news is, from the very day you were dumped, you were already adding to that thought in your ex's mind. So if you were begging and pleading, then you need to stop and you can get this process going. But if you never begged and pleaded, well, this was slowly but surely coming into play as soon as the breakup took place. So you've already done what you needed to do in that regard. Stop chasing your ex. Now, does it work all of the time? Well, there is no 100% guaranteed way to get an ex back. But what we can say is that it will absolutely play on their mind that you are not chasing them, and hence you are going on your own path, and in their mindset, they feel discarded. And this is what you need to be achieving to give yourself a chance of reconnection. Nothing can be guaranteed, but it certainly puts you in the best possible position. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please give this video a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is by focus on your positives. So today we're speaking about when your ex realizes that you're really gone. And we've already described that the first thing you need to do is stop chasing your ex. That is going to really make them think, well, wait a minute. My dumpy doesn't seem to desire me in a way that I thought they did. That is going to make them feel discarded. But then we need to go beyond that. What happens when they feel discarded? Well, the next element is that they start to focus on your positives. Things that you might not have thought, but they really cared about you anymore. You probably thought, well, they only see the bad in me. Maybe you acknowledge you made mistakes. Maybe you think this has been a very unfair situation or told. It's important to take accountability. You know, as a dumpy, We have to acknowledge that our former partner didn't want to be in a relationship anymore because they weren't feeling something was perfectly right. We have to acknowledge that this is somewhat down to us. I'm not saying it's fully down to you, but I am saying it's important to take accountability and really look in the mirror metaphorically. What do you need to do? What do you need to change? There are going to be things you need to do. There are going to be things you need to change, even though I'm not suggesting it is necessarily all on you. It certainly is partly on you. And for some of you dumpies, the accountability you need to take is going to be much greater than others. But when we consider point number 2 and your ex-dumper now focusing on your positives, there would have been positives in your relationship. I mean, the fact you were together suggests that at one time you two were both feeling a high level of romantic emotional attraction for one another. There are going to be positives that they can find by looking to the past. And that is what they're going to be doing when they start to feel that you've really gone. Because we only miss something when it's not there. If they believe that you are there, if they believe that you are over there somewhere just kind of waiting for them, well, this is going to be a situation where they don't miss you. They don't think back to the past in a glowing way because they don't need to. They know you are going to reach out. There is no abandonment pulling on them in the way that you need it to. We've already said that they now feel discarded, but now it needs to continue to the point of where they reflect on the past and see your good points. But there are other things as well that we need to be making sure that your ex-dumper is feeling. And that is the fact that we want them to be seeing your improvements. Now, this won't always be possible, okay? I acknowledge that some dumpers and dumpees have absolutely zero connection post-breakup in any way at all. Now, if that is where you fall into the category of, you still need to be working on yourself. Because even if you think, well, we don't see each other anymore, we're not on social media, we don't have any mutual friends, even if you don't have any of those things which can really help you, you never know if and when your ex-dumper is going to find out information about you. So even though the most obvious ways are, maybe you work together, maybe you have children together and hence you see each other, maybe you live close by and you know you will bump into each other, maybe you're connected on socials, maybe you have mutual friends, those situations are obvious. If you go through self-improvement, if you become a better person today than you were yesterday and a better person tomorrow than you are currently today, then your ex-dumper will find out about this, and therefore they won't just miss and think of you in a past sense. They will see things that you are doing right now and start to feel that longing for you again. That's obvious. But if you have none of that in play, there are still ways that you never quite can predict how your ex-dumper might come across you. For instance, if you were to go online dating, you might not think of it right now, but if you were to, and your ex-dumper did as well, or somebody they know sees you, somehow knows it's you, etc., etc., these situations might seem crazy, but I've heard of them. So never ever think it's totally impossible. And even if you believe, well, look, there is no way my ex is going to find out anything about me, well, you've got to be doing it for yourself. You know, the byproduct is that your ex finds out about these things, but this should be for you, right? And even if there is no obvious connection, your ex-dumper may one day reach out to you just via the power of my version of the no contact rule, which I'm hoping you're implementing. And if you want to learn more about, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out the playlist for no contact rule. That is really going to help pull your ex towards you. So they might reach out to you without any other additional elements. And if and when they do, you need to be ready. You need to be a better person than they remember. So do it for you, and the byproduct is that your ex-dumper will eventually, likely, find out. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. This is the best and diamond level of support that I can provide. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is they want what they don't have. So today we're speaking about when your ex realizes that you're really gone. We've already spoke about how that if you live your life in the right way, if you don't chase your ex, then they're going to feel discarded. That is then going to lead them into really focusing on your positives, both from the past when you were together and the present. Things that maybe they didn't know about you, didn't expect about you. They're now seeing these changes one way or the other, finding out and being really intrigued, impressed, and hopefully attracted. Now we move on to the most important phase, of course, of trying to get your ex back with this connection to what we're speaking about today. And that is that they want what they don't have. Now, this isn't unique to your ex-dumper. This is human nature. Now, remember when I said earlier on in today's podcast, I said, I would imagine, dumpies, for you actually want your ex-dumper more now than perhaps you ever did before. You feel more attraction towards them now than you did when you were actually together. Now, you may think that's crazy, but if you think about it logically, then I would imagine that you would think, yeah, actually, I do. When we were together, I never felt this desire for my ex, but I do now. So you can surely see how it's connecting with you. Now, why is that? Well, the main reason is because we want what we don't have. It's human nature. So this isn't something I'm talking about with your ex-dumper in a way which is unique to them. This is human nature, and you are going through it right now. You have proof of concept, this is real. Proof of concept that this really hurts, and this is really difficult, and this really drives our desire for something. You might be able to think of it in a product sense, in a sense where you want to go to the shops and you want a certain product and it's not there and you become desperate for it. Maybe eventually it comes into stock and you get it and you're not really as excited about it once you purchased it. It is human nature. We want what we don't have. And if you live your life in the right way, making sure you don't chase your ex, making sure you become a version 2.0 of yourself, so that if and when your ex finds out about you, you are your best self, your most attractive self. They will reflect on the past. They will also see the present. If, when we combine all of these things, your ex-dumper recognizes that they don't have you in their life anymore, even though you are this great person, even though you're proving that you're not chasing them, if they see that they don't have you and they feel these new feelings flooding back, this desire is going to really kick in. And this can be one of the most powerful ways of one day getting your ex back, because it pulls them to come towards you. We want them to come towards you. You can't be chasing them. We want to spin things around and have them chasing you. And dumpers chasing dumpies is something which you might not be able to imagine right now, but it happens. You can shift the power balance, shift the way everything is playing out, and you can get your ex back.